that tackle that you made, you heard Mark Sanchez on the broadcast calling it a textbook tackle by Jaylon Johnson on the 3rd and 7 play when you wrap up Kyren Williams. Jaquan Brisker comes in there and gets a big hit. It's flashy. Did you have him on your own? Did you need Brisker's help, or did you have that tackle on lockdown, sir?
Nah, I wish I needed his help. It definitely made it look good. But I mean, I feel like I got the brunt of it really because I feel like I hit him first, and then of course he came very shortly after that and finished him off. But I know I definitely felt it a little bit.
And then you had a near strip of the football on Kyren Williams on the run play. Like, my God, that almost came out. Did you feel it getting loose? Did you think you were getting it?
I mean, honestly, in a moment, I didn't. I just felt like, honestly, I was just tired of like trying to be blocked and shit. I just felt like it kept gassing us. So I was trying to just get my hand on him best I could, and I ended up grabbing his hand. And it's funny because like after the play, I didn't know what I was doing in the moment, kind of just trying to get him down. And then after the play, he had said something. He was like, you almost got it. Like, you had a good grip. And I'm just like, I didn't even know what you was talking about. I kind of just moved on. But after seeing it again, I was like, no, I almost got that ball out. The ball definitely was close to coming out. I almost got his hand off of it and raked the front tip out. So that would have been a game-changing play in itself, too.
Jaylon, we've been having a big discussion about you guys, especially with a lot of the things that came out last week where guys were talking about Shane Waldron and saying, hey, look, we went to him, we talked to him, we told him what we needed. One, I'd love to get your perspective on all of that. Two, here's my question for you. When did you know how you needed to be coached? And how did you express that to your coaches?
So the first question, I guess my perspective on the whole thing, I mean, it really came about from captain's meeting. We kind of have a captain's meeting on every Monday after the game. And I think kind of just getting to a certain point with the captain group. I mean, of course, I'm not on offense, so we weren't doing too much talking as far as the defensive captains, but kind of just hearing certain things that were going on. And it really wasn't like a team issue or like a coach Fluke's issue. It was more so, okay, there needs to be a conversation with Shane as far as the comfort, as far as what guys want to be able to get into a certain mind frame, to be able to feel a certain way going into a game and during the game, and how you can best maximize your players, not just physically, but also mentally. Because, I mean, you can only go so far with just your physical talent, but if you can get all 11 guys on the same page, all 11 guys knowing what the plan of attack is, what we're doing, how we're going to do it, and everybody knows and can go out there and just focus on executing, they were pretty much just wanting to have that conversation. So, I mean, again, I wasn't there for the conversation, not being an offensive guy. So whatever that conversation was, it seemed like it definitely changed some things, and they were able to work through and continue to push through to gain a certain level, I feel like, of comfort. And now kind of just for them continue to build off of that. And I can only imagine where things are going to go now that they have that relationship where they can come and really come together from player and coach and figure out ways to put points up, because ultimately that's what their job is, to put points up, and our job is to stop guys from scoring. So even on our side, even though we're doing a good job and things like that, we're definitely having those conversations on our side as well, where it's like, hey, coach, we like this, we don't like this, how can we do this, or this is how we see it. So, I mean, just for us on defense, it's not like, okay, we just have everything together as well. Now we're trying to figure out and have those conversations on defense as well, figuring out what we can do better or how we can do things a different way to be able to go out there and ultimately win and dominate. What were you going to say?
For you, like, was there a point in your career you're like, you know what, I need a kick in the butt, and I need to be able to tell my coaches that they can do what they need to do? Or maybe you're a hug guy, I don't know. But when did you go, I know what I need, and I can tell my coaches what I need and feel comfortable about that?
I mean, honestly, I always feel like, as far as like coaching style, I can get coached by really any style of coaching. I think my dad definitely plays a big role in that. As a kid, he definitely coached hard. He wasn't somebody that just gave me all the praise and things like that. Just especially like as a parent, we would go and score touchdowns and do all these different things. My dad would sit there with a straight face, and then we'd get in the car and he says, well, at least you did what you were supposed to do. So, I mean, just for me, like, always having that hard coaching, that that, I mean, he's a correctional officer, so I mean, I don't even want to say the jail type of thing, but he definitely has a certain way of going about things. So, I mean, as far as my mentality and mental go, I mean, I'm definitely mentally strong. If it's a coach that coached me hard, like my college coach, I mean, we would go at it. He would go, I mean, I don't want to say cuss me out, but he was able to cuss me out and have those conversations. I was able to respond to it quickly. I mean, my coaches previously in other regimes or a certain way, the coaches I have now are a certain way. So I'm pretty good. I mean, as far as what I need, I'm pretty vocal. If anybody knows on the defense who's gonna ask a question, who's gonna say something, it's definitely me. So I don't shy away from telling the coaches, hey, we need even today we had a certain call that we weren't getting right necessarily on the field, and I told him, like, coach, I don't feel like we detailed that enough. So I mean, whatever we need to do to detail something better or make sure that we're on top of it throughout the week and not just waiting. Okay, yeah, well, assuming that we know, like, no, make sure that we're detailing certain things. I mean, I have those conversations. If I don't feel comfortable with something or if I don't like the way something went, I would definitely tell them. I think it really came after my rookie year, of course, my second year having a little more of a voice, and then really my third year going into it after the new regime came in, kind of being one of those older guys in the room, definitely still having that that ability to go and speak my mind. So I definitely don't hold my tongue really hardly ever now at this point in my career.
Jaylon Johnson is with us here on the Spiegel and Holmes Show. I want to get back to his dad because that's amazing. But let's stay here on this idea of the players helping the coaches communicate. Jaylon, I remember it was maybe the third or fourth time that we ever had you on this show, and you used a phrase. I still remember you said, well, I was like, how do you guys talk to each other about what you need? And you said, well, it's all about communicating with intention. And I was like, what did he just say? Like, there is whether it's therapized or just, some call it new agey, or it's just like a more direct way of really trying to communicate that young people in general are better at than when I was your age, you know? And it's like, so I'm sure it's not the first time where sometimes coaches need the way that you guys communicate. You guys as players have learned to communicate in a way that coaches, you need to drag them along sometime. And that's a wonderful and healthy thing if the coaches can have humility about it, isn't it? Because you guys are good at it.
No, 100%. And I mean, honestly speaking, I feel like I wouldn't even say that we are good at it. I think it just kind of took us getting to a certain point and having the right guys speak up and kind of ignite the flame. And then everybody else can kind of start letting it all out. I'm like, man, forget it. We just going to tell them how we feel. But I know definitely is a lot of hesitation when it comes to telling the coaches what you think and how it is. I mean, locker room talk is one thing, but you can actually go to the coach and have a conversation with the coach. That's a different comfort zone, I would say, as far as being able to go and have those conversations. And it definitely, I would say, takes the right person to spark it. I know, especially on the defensive side, I'm one to spark it. I'm one to, hey, coach, what makes you call this call? Why are we running this player? Why aren't we running this player? I'm going to ask those type of questions just because for myself as a player, I'm big on understanding. So I need to understand for myself, but also the guys in the room need to understand, because we can hear a play, oh, yeah, we're going to run this play, and we all look at each other like, man, that ain't the play we need to be running. But if he has a rhyme and reason behind it, when we get the call in the game, we can anticipate, okay, well, coach is calling this because he's thinking run, so, hey, maybe we need to be thinking run. The top runs are bounce or toss or whatever the case may be. So now we're able to kind of think what he's thinking. But if we're just, okay, we're going to run this call, why are we doing it? If we don't ever ask, then it's like we don't know why, so we can't really anticipate or think and be on the same page, which now we're not playing full speed like we can or anticipating certain things. So it definitely goes a long way with having that open communication of asking questions why, making your suggestions, because too, it's not 70 and sunny when they're watching the film when they're, okay, yeah, well, let's play it like this, and maybe the guys will see it like this. It's a lot different when you got bullets flying and people are hitting you in the face, and then you run up and down the field covering people, and then you got to come back and see it how he saw it up in the film room. It's not always ideal like that. It's not just as simple as, okay, well, the coaches see it like this. You guys aren't on the field playing, quite frankly. So it's kind of definitely that balance between having that structure that the coaches give, but also you got to be able to open the dialogue up to your players to be able to figure out, okay, how do you guys see it? How do you guys feel about X, Y, and Z? How do you fit this run, or how do you see this pass concept, or who will pick this up, or who will pick that up. So you definitely need the players' feedback in it. And I feel like the coaches who don't allow you to give that feedback will never have a successful team because the coaches aren't the one executing the game.
All right, so now back to your dad, who's a corrections officer, but also also a defensive back, and your brother was a defensive back. So, do the three of you still sit around and talk defensive back technique in the family business?
Nah, not all three of us. Really, just me and my brother. Of course, we'll always talk. But my dad, he kind of, I don't want to say he kind of took the back seat now, but he kind of more, he asked us more so how we would play certain things because he's a defensive coordinator now back in out of high school, a private high school in Fresno. So he'll ask us, okay, Jaylon, how do you run quarters? How do you do certain things? So it kind of tables have turned a little bit. I kind of trying to teach him some of the things that I've learned, some ways that I see certain things, especially with route concepts, and with this route concept, this guy can do this or these guys can do that. It just really depends on what it is. But I mean, for the most part, he's kind of just picking our brains on how we see certain things or how he feels like he can play certain things at this point.
I think that's a smart football coach that has access to an all-pro and is like, hey, let me ask my all-pro son
Maybe
how.
I should stop teaching him at this point.
Right. He might be able to tell me some things. Jaylon, when I look at you guys, I say 24 points should be enough to win any game for this Bears team because you guys' defense is really good. And then I heard you in the locker room, and I was like, oh, Jaylon is not satisfied with the performance of yesterday. What were the things from the performance that you said we can be better than this?
We didn't get off the field quick enough. I don't know how many 3-and-outs we had, but it definitely wasn't good enough. I know there was too many long drives. We definitely had too many where we did get the ball in 30 and they get the ball all the way down to like 20, our 20, our 10, and now we're having to play so many red zone possessions, and it's like, nah, that's not what we're used to. I feel like we can count probably on one hand how many red zone or goal line snaps we had in the first 3 games, and then we gave up too many plays and didn't get off on third down. So, I mean, we definitely did a solid job as far as stopping them from scoring points, but I feel like they had too many yards, and we just didn't. I don't think we did good enough. Definitely with McVay and how he runs the team, it's not like it was going to be an easy task, but definitely for something that definitely was a game that we feel like we could have definitely done a lot better and got off the field in a lot of those third downs. I don't think we did good enough on third downs, getting off, giving ourselves a chance to get off and getting some 3-and-outs.
What is it about that offense that gets guys so seemingly wide open on crossing patterns? How does, because he does it all the time against everybody.
It really it's really, I feel like just the creativity. I feel like it's almost art. I feel like it's the creativity of mirroring things together, mirroring looks together, kind of. And it really all starts with the run game. If you don't have, you can't do anything without the run game. So as far as the play action goes, if you're getting the linebackers to step up, it's a lot easier to get the ball behind them versus if there's no fear of the run, then people are playing with a little more depth, are playing in those windows. But when you have that run establishing and getting outside or hitting you up the middle, then it's like, those backers start flowing downhill more, trying to stop that run. And then, okay, with the play action, bring the ball back, and then we hitting them right where the backers left at. So I think kind of there's little things like that. And then also, too, I would say with them doing so many motions and jet motions and slow motions and return motions, it's like you have to account for all of that. And then you kind of mirror those together. You do 3 motions that look the exact same, and they're all be runs. And then on the 4th one, he'll insert block that he's been doing, and then he releases. And then the tight end, it's like it's a lot, but it's definitely really, I think, all starts with the run. If you can knock the run out, then a lot of those things you wouldn't be so aggressive on. I mean, corners wouldn't be wanting to come down and crack plays, and linebackers wouldn't want to scream so far downhill. So it really starts with the run, and then the creativity to make run plays or make pass plays look like they're run plays.
And then what's a good quarterback like Stafford? What's the quarterback's role in making all that work in the same way?
Calling out coverages, seeing what teams are in, seeing where the blitzes are coming from. Because, I mean, with some of the inexperienced guys, or you can definitely tell who's smart, who's who, because I know there was definitely some time where some blitzes and things that we normally get that hit or they're not really expecting, he was definitely seeing them, calling them out, and we got to the sideline one time like, man, who's the rat? Like, who's telling who's telling on us because he's identifying and calling out a lot of our blitzes. So I think just him running that show, just as far as being able to get guys in the right position, slide the protection a certain way, really even check the plays at the line of scrimmage based on what he's seeing from the defense's perspective. So, I mean, really just overall, just run the show. So, I mean, him with a guy like McVay, I mean, is a dangerous combination.
Jaylon, what makes a good blitzer?
I can't really tell you. I haven't blitzed hardly ever in the league, so I don't. What makes a good blitzer?
Well, the reason I bring it up is that I feel like your specific position group is filled with guys that are good blitzers. I think Kyler's a really good blitzer. Jaquan is a really good blitzer.
Jaylon hasn't blitzed yet.
I know.
He just said it. I was wondering. We haven't seen him do it. That's crazy.
I know. So your teammates get guys on the ground when they are given the opportunity to do so. Mm-hmm. Why?
I feel like one, disguise is one, depending on your position. But I would say disguise because if they know that you're coming, you're probably not going to get there. So I would say disguise in being able to not give it away because you have to. And then I would say being a good tackler, you have to be able to get them down because there's a lot of guys that get in there and they blitz and then the quarterback jukes them. It's like, man, that was a damn waste of a blitz. So I think just being able to disguise it and then go with speed and get under control and then be able to bring them down. So I think Kyler does a good job at it. Clearly seen Jaquan do it. So, I mean, with Stafford's back to him, it's definitely a lot easier. But even in that situation, I've seen plenty of corners and DBs blitz and quarterback spins out and they ain't there fall on their face. So I think just really being able to be under control when you're getting there and then just finding a way to get them down.
Why aren't they letting you do it?
Yeah. What's up with that?
You got to know your personnel. Everybody has their strengths, and I feel like for me, they probably feel like, hey, you do better covering. Let's just keep you out in space, taking care of the air, and then let everybody else do a lot more of the dirty work.
I like it because this way, Jaylon's job is to, take away the best receiver on the other team and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Not be thrown at because they know what's going to happen if they do. I like it. But see, what Jaylon has set up.
My guess. I don't know. I don't know why. I almost asked him, hey, Coach, is it a personal thing or what we got going on? We got going on? Everybody got a blitz but me. So I ain't asked him yet, but I'm thinking about it.
But the beautiful thing is that now it's all set up. See, now I'm expecting Jaylon to blitz and get his guy Red Rifle on the ground on Sunday.
I need it. Let me just get this one because I played with him. I need one QB hit.
Would you hit him hard or would you let him down soft on Sunday?
It depends on if he sees me coming, doesn't see me coming. Because, I mean, the worst thing I want to do is either miss or get a damn flag for unnecessary roughness or something like that. It's like, nah, I can't run the risk of that. So, I mean, it really just depends on the situation. I'd rather get the sack than try to hit him hard and do all that hoorah. I just want the sack.
Jaylon, on the near interception, on the first one by Brisker where he's out of bounds first,
yeah.
Is that a frustrating rule to you guys? Like, I get it for the offensive player, like that the offensive player has to stay in. For the defensive player, I feel like that shouldn't be a thing. What do you think?
Only because it's Jaquan, I definitely feel like I don't like the call just because I wouldn't want to have that interception. But if I was watching from another team, I definitely would feel like it's not. I don't think the rule is the issue because I know with the offense, you can't go out of bounds and be the first to touch.
Yeah.
So I know that's why the ref throws the hat down. So in that case of him pushing the receiver out of bounds, they even teach us that on scramble drill. Like once the quarterback gets out of the pocket or whatever, or when scramble drill, try to get your guy out of bounds because they can't be the first to touch. So it's like he eliminated him once he pushed him out, but I definitely feel like there has to be some sense of establishment because if not, they both can be out of bounds. He just jumps back in and without even touching the ground maybe. So I feel like, I don't know if we can change it or try to get it changed to 1 foot, but I mean, you definitely, to me, have to be able to get back in bounds and make some type of establishment of being back in bounds. Now, if Jaquan couldn't touch the ball at all either, then that's BS. But I feel like as far as just a reestablishment, I don't think it's that bad.
So we've talked to you many times through the years and through the weeks when the offense has struggled. Offense was better. Yeah. Offense was better. The run game was there. They put the mini fridge out there in the I formation. And Caleb, checking it down. A beautiful throw to DJ Moore on the touchdown. How were the defensive vibes about what the offense did yesterday?
I mean, definitely better. I mean, we can't complain with touchdowns and field goals being put up. So, I mean, I think just for us overall, just happy to see the progression, and it's been getting better slowly but surely, and be able to see him click. Big play, Dre had a heck of a day as well. So happy to see him getting back to himself. I know all of what he can do as far as his just impact that he can make on a football game. So I mean, I was happy to see that. Roshan ran the ball well, line blocked, or the team blocked as a whole. Blocked well. And then, of course, I feel like there's definitely some more explosives out there that I know that they want. I know Caleb wants some throws back. There's a few guys that want some plays back, but I think they definitely did a heck of a job and gave us some points. So, I mean, for us, it's really just about going out there and closing the game out.
Jaylon, as always, this was enjoyable. Thank you so much. Stay healthy, and we'll talk to you next week.
No doubt. Y'all have a good one.
All right, Jaylon.
It's Jaylon Johnson.
Whew.
That you want to learn football,
dude?
That last segment, jeez.